Hey everybody, Coach Willem here from Restored Strength, and today I wanted to go over 3 exercises to help you with low back pain using the ultimate sandbag. And just to shorten the name of the tool I'm using, I'm going to refer to it as a USB. The first exercise to begin with is a USB dead bug. So I'm going to grab my sandbag, I'm going to raise it up from my chest. From this position here, I'm going to create tension with the bag by pulling the bag in half. From here, I'm going to raise my legs upward so that my knee is in line with my hip. From here, I'm pressing my rib cage down and pulling my belly button into the floor. Next, I'm going to slowly lower my leg down and then raise it back up. So the goal here is to keep tension at my ribs and in the front of my hips as I slowly lower down my thigh, raising my leg back up. To challenge myself, I can extend my leg outward and then pull back. And to say if I were to have low back pain throughout dropping my heel with my thigh, the other progression or the other exercise I could use is a heel raise. So I'll raise my leg up, then drive back down and repeat. So there's a few variations to play with. See what feels best for you. The next exercise is going to be a USB glute bridge. Now with this exercise, the goal here is not to reach your hips up towards the ceiling as high as you can, but more so to feel your feet pressing into the floor and the contraction throughout the back of the thigh. So as I raise the bag overhead, similar to the last position, I'm ripping the bag in half. And now what I want to focus on is pressing my feet firmly into the floor as my hips raise up and controlling them back down. So again, I feel my ribs and hips creating tension by pushing into the floor. The next thing I'll do is raise my hips up by pressing my feet into the floor. So the more control I have by pressing my feet into the floor and raising my hips up, the more contraction I can get throughout the back of my thighs and my glutes. Now, as I'm going into this extension, I want to avoid this hyper-arching motion. And let's say I'm still dealing with some low back pain throughout that motion. What you can do is still create that tension, but focus more so on what's called a pelvic tilt, where you're pressing your low back into the floor and then letting your pelvis roll forward slightly and then repeating. So you can progress or go into another variation by pushing your low back into the floor. Then you can progress by pressing your feet into the floor to raise those hips up. The last exercise is going to be a USB deadlift. So with my USB, I'm placing the bag on top of my feet so that the handles are in line with my shins. From this position here, what I want to do is keep tall and tight. I'm going to have a slight bend in my knee, and from there I'm going to be reaching my hips back. As I grab the handles, I'm going to keep my chest tall and tight. I'm going to press my feet into the floor, then stand tall. So again, the goal here is to teach our hips to reach back while our core keeps ourselves stable, so then that way I'm not rounding through my upper back or my lower back, kind of heaving and hoving through. What I want to do is maintain this tight position as I bend my knees and reach my hips back. Again, I want to really focus on pushing my feet firmly into the floor. That way it helps me push my hips forward as I stand tall.